Good evening. Hello, everybody. My name is Randy Hilarski. I am here tonight to talk about blood pressure and its effects on health. Uh, I don't expect a huge audience, but I like the this tool called Meetin, and I'll be recording here, and then we'll put it up on YouTube uh, for other folks to see and see over time. But I do these calls every Wednesday night. This is the No Permissions Health Call, and our community is on Patreon as well as Skool. So you can go to patreon.com/no permissions or Skool, spelled SKOOL.com/no permissions. Those links will be down below. You'll be able to join us and be part of our health conversation every week. I post about twice a day on TikTok and Instagram and places like that concerning health. I do have a history that I did have uh, heart failure back in the fall of 2024, and I almost didn't make it. My ejection fraction rate of my heart was a score of 23. The average person should be above 50. I was at 23. Do not know what the cause was. I am not vaccinated, so I don't think that had anything to do with it for me. Um, but during that time, there was a lot of people with heart problems due to the vaccine. That's why I bring that up. I also, it didn't happen overnight. My my heart problems stemmed from chronic high blood pressure. Now, for me, I have had high blood pressure the majority of my life. When I was in the Navy, back when I was, think, so I joined when I was 18. So my 4 year physical, so I would have been 22 years old. Dr. Peterline, up in Brunswick, Maine. I was at the Naval Air Station, Brunswick, Maine at the time. He did my 4 year physical and told me, son, he goes, you're going to have high blood pressure when you're older. I'm like, okay, sir, we'll see. And sure enough, by the time I was in my 30s, working in a high stress job. I was a psych nurse, mental health counselor. My blood pressure started climbing up to about 140 over 90, which is borderline. And I went on blood pressure medication. I think it may have been lisinopril or something like that. I was on that medication for about 4 years, all during the time when I was working the really high stress job. Overnights, it's bad, high levels of cortisol and things like that. So I worked tons of hours, and uh, it was very bad for my health. And at that time, that was the first time I really gained a lot of weight. And obviously, gaining weight does not help with blood pressure issues. So it all piled on, and then I made the smart move of moving to Florida. And when I was in Tampa, I was riding my bike everywhere. I ride my bike to work. I ride my bike down to the beach. I just had a great life, and I lost a bunch of weight, and my blood pressure normalized. Still high. What a doctor would today would consider high. Anything over 130 over 80 is considered elevated or borderline. So even at that point, I was still borderline. But it really came back when I started working at the hospital again, working nights in the psych unit. Did that for about 2.5 years when I was in Tampa, and really started to see my blood pressure creep up again. Ah, bad decisions, man. If you um, if you don't have to work overnights, don't do it. It's very, very bad for your health, especially in a high stress job. So I then moved back to upstate New York, and during that time, I was doing pretty good. I was working in a low stress job. I was in car sales. I was selling Mazda and Volkswagens. So during that time, I didn't have much stress. It was work wise simple for me, but I was bored, so I moved to Panama a couple years later. Moved down here. I've been here now 15 years. I was doing great up until the point where my son came along. Uh, that was in 2018. And during the pregnancy, they say that the male the husband who gained weight. I did. I gained a shit ton of weight, and it never went away. I got up to a peak of 370 pounds, which was quite heavy. I was a unit. I'm 6'2". I got up to 370. I carried it very well. People will tell you what, Randy, 370? Yeah, I'm 370. I'm just a giant guy. This is how it was, and my blood pressure was really high. Uh, I went to I went to Mexico during COVID, and I started having kidney stones, and my kidneys seemed to be always in pain. And I did a GFR test. A GFR test is a glomerular filtration. It tells you how efficient your kidneys are getting rid of stuff. And mine was very low. And I remember that was the first time in my life where I felt scared for my health. I thought I was going into kidney failure, and I ended up fixing that. Thank God. Uh, I was changed my diet and cleared up my kidneys. Was able to stop the kidney stones. I haven't had another one since. So that was 2020. Yeah, that was the spring of 2021 when I had the kidney stone. I was in Mazatlan, Mexico at the time, and the doctor says you need to change your diet and you need to lower your blood pressure. So at that time, again, I went on blood pressure meds, and never had an issue of with my kidneys. My GFR has been steadily going up over the years now, which is your once again your kidney test. So I got my blood pressure back under control. Didn't like how the medication made me feel. So after the whole COVID stuff ended, we moved back to Panama, and I went and saw my doctor, Dr. Sanchez, and he put me on this blood pressure medication, which it's two medications in one. We call it Cloversil here. It's got amlodipine and something else. I hated this shit. Hated it. And it would cause swelling in my lower legs. And if you've ever seen somebody that has dark patches on their lower legs, it's kind of unsightly. You look at it, you're like, why is that there? It makes your skin look like it's a little bit dirty, but all it is when your legs swell up, blood vessels break, and the iron in the blood uh, pools there under the skin, and it causes darkening. You'll in a black person, you'll see dark patch on their lower legs. They In white people, you'll see like a dark brown color, and that's what signifies that somebody has swelling, and maybe they're taking something like amlodipine, which is one of the side effects of taking that blood pressure medication. So I by the time 2024 came along, it was the beginning of 2024, and um, the medication wasn't really helping. My blood pressure was still high. I was generally running like 150 over 100, like that. That was what my blood pressure was. I kind of just accepted it. And I said, you know what? Screw this. I'm not taking this stupid medication anymore. Uh, I'm embarrassed to walk around in shorts because of my lower legs, the discoloring, and some swelling. If I wore flip flops or chanclas, we call them here in Panama, it was really bad. So I was just embarrassed, and I say, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So without Dr. Sanchez's approval, I just went ahead and stopped my blood pressure medications, and that was probably March of 2024. We then went on a trip for my birthday in July of 2024. We went to Medellin, Colombia, and we were walking around uh, Pueblito, or the famous area or Poblado, and the famous area in Medellin, and it's really hilly. Uh, and I noticed that I was getting winded. Didn't think much of it. I'm like, this. I know we're at a high elevation, so maybe that's what's causing it. And I didn't sleep well. I had a pain right in the back of my neck, and I said, this is odd. And I had flu-like symptoms I had like a fluid in my chest. I said, okay, all right, maybe this will go away. Let me take some cough medicine and stuff, and hopefully it will go away. I never checked my blood pressure. Mind you, guys, I'm a nurse. This is why sometimes we as humans we're stubborn and we're not very smart. All right. If I had a patient that was having these symptoms, I would have done asked a lot of questions, right? But I thought I knew better. I thought, oh, I just have a chest cold. So a month goes by, 2 months go by, it starts getting worse. I start struggling going up the stairs. Um, my wife and I, when we would do our thing, I'd get winded. I'd be like, "What's going on? This is weird." I just kept taking. I just kept saying I had a chest cold, and um, kept taking cough medicine, which makes it worse, right? So October came along, and I'm sitting there, and I said to Anna, I said, "Babe," I said, "I need to go to the doctor tomorrow." She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "I should not. I'm feeling lightheaded. I can't go up the stairs without feeling exhausted. There's something wrong here." So the next day, I went to saw um, my internal medicine doctor, Dr. Sanchez, and I sat down. I told him what was happening. He immediately put me on the table, gave me an EKG. He saw that I had an SA node block, which is lower left side of my heart was damaged. And uh, I told him about the fluid in my lungs, and he checked, and yes, I had CHF, congestive heart failure. So uh, he was quite worried. He put me on a bunch of tests, blood work, and then he sent me to a cardiologist. And I was supposed to go get an echocardiogram that Friday. This was Thursday. I was supposed to go the next day to get an echocardiogram. For some reason I couldn't get in. They told me I have to wait till Monday to get my echocardiogram. So very stressful weekend. I He did put me on a bunch of meds. Like there was this one, I still have it. It's called Renexa. Um, these are some of the medicines I've had since I had that issue. Of course, Lasix, which is furosemide to take care of the fluid, the extra fluid in your system. Um, you put me on Bimata, Valsartan. This helps strengthen your heart, I think, and a couple other things to help get the fluids down and lower my pulse. So there's this one is called Procarolin. This one helps lower your pulse rate because my pulse is really high too. I was had thready pulse at the time, like 90, 95, which is not freaking normal. You're not supposed to be that high. So I was on all these meds, and it was Friday going into Saturday, and I couldn't get my echo until Monday. Oh, and I also didn't get to see the cardiologist till Monday. That's what it was. I didn't get to see the cardiologist till Monday, along with the echo. So the echo came back that I had uh, the injection fraction rate was 23. Like I said earlier in the call, that 70 is baseline, or I mean, sorry, 50 is normally what people have, over 50. And I remember I got the test done, and I came out into the waiting room, and my son was waiting for me. It was just him and I that day. And I just started crying. I had to go excuse myself to the bathroom and just bawl my eyes out for a minute because my injection fraction rate was so low, and I didn't know if I was going to make it, right. So uh, I remember climbing the stairs. This is after I got the medications. It was like Sunday night before I saw the cardiologist. I remember climbing the stairs, and I was so winded. At the top of my stairs is my bathroom, and I was going in the bathroom, maybe going to bed, to brush my teeth, that type of thing. And I was so winded. And, taking, yeah, I thought I was gonna die right there. I thought I was done for. I was like, oh my god, is this what a heart attack feels like? So scary. The cardiologist, when I saw him, the first thing he said, he goes, "Son, you're young enough. You're gonna make it through this." And he said, "But you're gonna have to put in some work," which me, as the type of person I am, ex-military, I'm an entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. I said, "Okay, challenge accepted. Let's do this." So I got my blood pressure under control. I've lost weight. I continue to lose weight, getting my health in line, and there's lots of tools that I'm using to do this. So I'll get into that in a second. I see Robert made a comment. He said, Randy, even with my weight loss, my pressure has been 139/90 until recently. I'm seeing 119, 123/79 to 83 now. It's an ongoing work in progress. Yes, it's an ongoing work in progress. And from day to day, those numbers can change significantly. But yeah, 139/90, that is considered high nowadays. It used to be 139/90. Robert, guys like our age, that would be considered normal, right? They say, for every decade of life, if you go up by a couple points, you're okay. Because we have something called hardening of the arteries as we get older, or arteriosclerosis, which is pretty normal. But yeah, but your current blood pressures that's much more in range and pretty good. That's actually where mine is normally with my phone. I just took my blood pressure about 2 hours ago, just so I could tell you guys what the reading was. So this morning I took it when I woke up. Remind you that when you wake up, that's when your cortisol levels are the highest. So you're going to have your highest reading of the day, normally right when you wake up. And I was at 125/88 with a pulse of 69. That was at 7:30 this morning, just waking up, rolling over, grabbing my blood pressure cuff and taking my blood pressure while I'm still in bed. Then I took it again. Geez, it's kind of blurry picture, but it's 110/75. This was just 2 hours ago. Beautiful, 110/75. That's exactly where I want to be. I think the diastolic, which is the lower number, I wouldn't mind that being a little bit lower, but that's where my blood pressure is now. And when I go to bed, I imagine my blood pressure will be right around 110 again, and sometimes the diastolic will drop down to the 60s. That's what you want to see. So there's something that is really important with blood pressure is that you have a range. So you take your number, your high number, your systolic. Say your systolic is 120, and then your diastolic is 80. That means your heart relaxes by 40 millimeters of mercury between beats. If you can get over 40, spectacular. That's wonderful. But you also don't want it too wide. You don't want it 60-point difference, but right around 40 is pretty good. And you saw that, I had almost 40 there. So that when I was having my heart issues, it was closer to 20. So my high blood pressure would be 150/130 or 160/140. And that was very bad. You don't want that. You want your heart to be able to pump, relax. So that's how the blood pressure works in a nice basic layman's way of saying it. So let's go into I'll continue the story. 6 months later, I took my echocardiogram again, and my score went up to, I think it was 33. Yeah, I think it was 33. So went up by about 45, 50%. And then I took it again 6 months later after that, and then I was up to 38. So my heart continues to strengthen, and it's been almost 1 year since my last echocardiogram, and I'm going to get one soon. I keep telling everyone I was going to do it in March, but I've started some new therapy, and I don't want to do it right away. I wanted to wait at least 6 weeks or so before I go get my echocardiogram again. One thing that is elevated for me was a year ago when I took my test was that my cholesterol was high, and especially my triglycerides and my LDLs. And I found out that I have the genetic propensity for lipoprotein little a, or LP little a, which is the one that is a sign that you could have heart disease in the future. And obviously I have, right? So I have to monitor that some way and hopefully get that down. Now, let's go into how I've managed things. So you can see that my blood pressure is significantly lower. I have taken some drastic changes in my life. Not everyone's able to do what I've done. Some of the things that cost money, some are absolutely free. I'm going to give you all the tools that I've learned and all the tools I've put into effect here to help me to repair my heart and my blood vessels. Because your heart can be as strong as you want, but if your plumbing sucks, then you're going to have issues. And one of the issues that we have that doctors they just don't talk about it enough, and I think it's they're doing us an injustice, and that is something called insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity just means that your body doesn't take the sugar that it takes in and send the insulin out to get it out of your system quick enough or put it, where it's supposed to go. It's because we have too much sugar in our system or in our foods. We're eating too much stuff that's loaded with sugar, uh, or just eating too much in general. So let's start with the free ways. The free ways where you can lower your insulin sensitivity, and your insulin sensitivity leads to inflammation, which leads to things like high blood pressure. One way I do it is through fasting. There's a lot of people that do intermittent fasting, 12, 16, 18 hours a day, and they eat one meal or two, they have two meals in like a 4 or 6, 8 hour period. That works for some people, but it doesn't work for me. I don't like intermittent fasting. I like full on fasting. So what I do is I do alternate day fasting, which is, fasting for 36 to 40 hours and then eating in a window of like 6 hours, then fasting again for up to 40 hours. And then I change that up sometimes. Like today and yesterday, I ate, and for the next 2 days, I won't eat. I know it's crazy, but guess what, guys? It's absolutely free, and it will help increase your insulin sensitivity. It'll help you regulate your glucose in your system and move it to the places it's supposed to go. All right. I'm going to remind everyone I am a nurse, so I'm not talking out of my ass here. I did the traditional schooling of medicine. I understand where the doctors come from. I understand how the pharmaceutical system tells you everything needs to be done with medications. But I'm telling you right now, fasting is the best tool that you're going to have to come in and help increase your insulin sensitivity and make you feel make your blood pressure maybe a little bit lower and help to strengthen those arterial walls, decrease the inflammation in your arterial walls so that your blood pressure can regulate better, go down. And it's been wonders, absolute wonders for me. And on top of all that, I've lost since September, since I started the intermittent fat or the alternate day fasting, I'm down 45 pounds since September. It's been absolutely spectacular for me, and I will continue to lose weight because this is not just a temporary thing in my life. This is a total lifestyle change. And I told my wife I'll never stop doing this. Maybe I'll stop doing alternate day, but I'll still have, maybe I'll go Monday and Tuesday. I'll stop, or maybe I'll do Saturday and Sunday. I won't eat anything. Uh, but fasting is not part of my life. So anybody who says that, oh, I can't afford to eat healthy, I can't afford to buy products to help, I can't afford my blood pressure medication. You can fucking afford it free. Free you can afford. So, that's why I say fasting's fabulous. But everyone should be doing a little bit of that in their lives. Okay, so obviously take your blood pressure medication, but that one is a nice little tool and it's free. Now, food. Food is a really important one. And we were guilty. My family, part of the reason why I gained all the weight is that we were the type of people that went out to dinner, 5 nights a week, maybe twice a day. God, what were we thinking? Um, it's just crap. It's just crap. So we would go to a restaurant and, steak and potato salad, and then I'm the type of guy that I'll order a cheesecake. I like my rich foods. I've never been one to go to a restaurant and order a bunch of pasta and bread and that kind of stuff. I learned that a while ago that my body does not like carbohydrates. I just look at freaking carbohydrates and I get fat. It's like I'm an endomorph. If you know the body types, I'm an endomorph, and if I just eat a little bit too much, I'll start gaining weight. So I got to be very careful what I eat. Very calculated. Like I can't have pizza more than twice a month. Pizza's just a no go for me. So Foods that are highly processed, I can't do it. So a restaurant like today, we went to a cafe and I had a acai bowl, which is a berry from Brazil, and it had sliced bananas and watermelon and fruits and stuff like that. A little bit of peanut butter on the top. It's one of my favorite things, and I had that for lunch with tomato soup and half a grilled cheese sandwich. All right, on masa madre. Sorry. What do they call? Ah, geez, the really healthy bread, the fermented one. I can't remember what they call it in English, but we call it masa madre here. Um, Very good stuff. So do that. Eat as many whole foods as possible. Um, Foods that come right off the plant or right from the animal. Um, Butter, no seed oils. I don't do seed oils. You won't see me do sunflower oil or soybean oil or anything like that. I won't touch those things. Just butter, ghee, um, olive oil if it's good oil. If you could tell good olive oil. I lived in Italy. I know what the difference is. I can see the difference and taste the difference. And also, what's the other one? Coconut oil. We're in Panama, so coconut oil is just part of life here. Uh, I know the regular medical system talks a lot of shit about coconut oil, but I think it's fabulous. And coconut oil has a lot of good things in it for your body, uh, and it'll help go in and repair things. So I really like that. Lots of berries. I like blueberries. I stay away from things that have. Uh, Robert says I can relate because I supplement with omega 3 and 6. Carbs do stick to me. I do use coconut oil for cooking. Yep, coconut oil is fabulous. You only need a little bit. There's a very high smoke point, so you can use it to cook your meats and things like that, eggs and all that. um, Man, I was going something with the anti-inflammatories. You want to stay away from things that cause inflammation, foods that cause inflammations. Uh, Oh, I was gonna say berries. I use blueberries and banana and papaya, watermelon, things that have a lot of water content in them, and also help with fighting inflammation. The berries that I can't do are raspberry, blackberries. Like I can't do kale. I can't do spinach. Um, Geez, I can't remember the actual stuff that's in those that cause my kidney stones. Oh man, if one of you guys remembers the name of oh crap, lectins. Is it lectins? There's something in those that they're like crystals that the plants have inside of them that protect them against things eating them, and those crystals then clump together and they form bigger crystals and they damage your kidneys. And someone that already has kidney damage, a small amount of kidney damage, that's just disastrous. So I stay away from those specific uh, fruits, raspberries, blackberries, and I stay away from uh, vegetables that have very high amounts. And that would be spinach, kale, um, beets. I still will have a beet drink once in a while because beets is very good. It's very anything red. You see stuff that's red, it's generally good for you. So that'll bring me to this. One of the things I use is hibiscus hibiscus flower tea. Um, Red stuff, good for your heart. That's why I still do beets, even though beets are one of the things I shouldn't be doing. But everything in moderation. Also, I can't have almonds, raw almonds with the outside on them. That also can lead to kidney stones. And when I talked to my urologist, he asked me what I would drink, and when we were living in Mexico, I was probably going through a carton of almond milk every other day because we drink a lot of coffee, right? And coffee's dehydrating and it has almonds in it. And like I said before, just like the raspberries and all that, they also have that. substance in it. Sorry guys, I can't remember the name of it, but look it up. Kale, spinach, they all have those things. I thought it was lectins, but if it's not, don't worry about it. If it's red, take it anyways. This will help lower your blood pressure almost immediately. It's just absolutely fabulous. Has a nice little effect. It's a temporary effect, but it does it. And very good tea. So what I use stevia with this. I don't use sugar ever. I'm not a sugar guy anymore. I had to get rid of it. Yeah, Firehorse says lectins are nasty. Yeah. That was what was causing my kidney issues, I think, because I was way overdoing it, guys. I thought I was doing good with almond milk. I wish I would have stayed with regular milk, or found some other thing to use. Now my favorite nut milk is walnut milk, and because walnut milk isn't like almonds, so it's much better. Robert says, I've been using xylitol in my tea since you told me about it. Yep, xylitol is fabulous as well, and it's good for your teeth. So check out xylitol. I prefer the taste of stevia. My wife hates it. She's like, ew, if she even gets a little bit of stevia around her, because it's in powder form, the one I use, and someone go up her nose or whatever, if I'm making coffee next to her, and she's like, oh, this is disgusting. Hey, I love it. And it's all natural. It's made from a plant. So it's really good stuff. So let's talk about some other things that we can do. One of the ways that I believe I've been able to control my insulin resistance, which then leads to lower blood pressure, is through the use of yerba mate tea. So this is the one I use. Once again, this is red, so it's raspberry pomegranate. Pomegranate is also a fruit that's fabulous for your heart. So this one is pomegranate flavored, all natural flavor, and they're not cheap. They're a couple dollars a day, but it's yerba mate, and yerba mate has been known to have lots of good chemicals in it, all natural chemicals that help with your circulatory system. It's got something called chlorogenic acid, and chlorogenic acid helps relax I believe it helps relax the muscles in your arteries. So good one, chlorogenic acid. I drink this every morning when I wake up. Now, when I'm on fasting days, I will also do one of these in the afternoon because it also kills my appetite. It's like a natural form of a GLP. So you see the GLP-1s are all the rage right now. GLP-2, or retatrutide, all those peptides, they're all the rage. Well, this is much cheaper. Look, I sell peptides. I understand that if you were to buy tirzepatide, which is GLP-2, if you bought it through our website, Research Peptides, it's going to be about $70 a month, right? So just doing these and having these around is you get a nice little drink out of it. Now, another one that's really important, and this is also to help with insulin resistance, is another one of their products. It's called Balance, Unicity Balance. And this one is a fiber, and you put this in your meal before you eat. I don't put it in every meal. I don't use it for every meal. This is soluble and insoluble fiber. And what it does is you don't get a blood sugar spike. So you can make your chicken Alfredo over pasta. Just drink one of these first, like 10 to 15 minutes before you eat, and you won't get the massive blood sugar spike, which is really important to keeping your insulin resistance under control. What did I say about insulin resistance? Insulin resistance leads to issues with your arterial walls. They get irritated, and you start building plaque, and you start getting damaged, and that's when your blood pressure starts going up. So this is one of the tools that I use. I probably only use about, because I fast so much, I probably use like 4 of these a week, but only for a major meal. Like tonight for dinner, I had miso soup with some chicken in it and vegetables. The vegetables are already in the soup, so I'm already getting the soluble and insoluble fiber. So I didn't feel like I needed to use one of these. I don't use a lot just because I fast all the time anyways. And on my eating days, like today, I only had 2 meals. So I only used one. But that's their products. I really like what they have to offer. Maybe I'll have Coach come on. He's the guy that got me into using this products. He sells them. I don't have any business related with them. I have a referral code. I'll put that below if you guys want to order them. Uh, I think I would get like $10 if somebody orders them, but I don't do it as a business. Just helped me not have to pay as much money to get the supplements. So those are the main things that I do for my blood pressure. Other important things are sleep. Sleep is also free. So use your circadian rhythm to your benefit. Go to bed at 10, wake up at 6, 7, or 8. Follow the sun. Depends on where you live. Me, I live in Panama. Our sun is the same all year round. We don't have the massive changes because of them changing the clocks and all that stuff that you guys have up north. Um, our sun comes up at 6:30 a.m. and then it goes to bed. It goes to bed at 6:30 p.m. That is our cycle here in Panama. If it wasn't for lights, I would probably be asleep right now. Right? That's how humans were. Right now it's 8:36 at night. We're on Central Standard Time right now. I would normally, if there was no lights on, all you had was candles, you'd probably be in bed laying down, getting ready to fall asleep. And your natural circadian rhythm is to have your eyes closed when it's dark, go to sleep. Well, your body is still programmed that way. Even though electricity has changed us and changed how we live, our bodies are still built to follow circadian or the clock, the sun. So if you live up north, say you live somewhere like Seattle, Washington, where in the wintertime they only have 7 hours of light, or where I'm from, Rochester, New York. I know Robert, he's from the Toronto area. It's the same thing. In the wintertime, you might have 6, 7 hours of light. And what do? You come home, you sit there, you watch TV. In the days of old, they would just go to bed, right? Baby making time, whatever it was, right? And then your body got used to that, and your circadian rhythm was healthy. Uh, your blood sugar was healthy. You weren't snacking. You weren't having ice cream at 10 o'clock at night, spiking your blood sugar before you go to bed. We weren't working overnight shifts. I told you guys earlier in the call that part of the reason my health declined so much is because I did 7 years of night shifts, working in the hospital at night. I was not a nurse that would like to work during the day. Too much politics for me. So I wanted to work nights. I had my freedom, and plus I got paid extra money to work nights. And I was a guy who would work 60, 70 hours a week. I was a madman. I like those large checks, so I would work a whole bunch. So yeah, use that. And the other free one is working out, going for walks, building enough muscle mass. I am very lucky that I was an athlete all the way up into my mid 30s. I was in pretty decent shape. I was always at the gym. I played semi-pro volleyball. I, I was in the military for 7 years of my life. So I had the muscle there, and I still do. My legs are just rocks because of all those years of volleyball, and I've been able to keep it. And that through walking, and thank God I live where I live. Like today, didn't even drive anywhere. We went out, we had some meetings, we walked to the different places, and just within our neighborhood. So, it might be 85 degrees out, but we still walk, going to the park and doing all those things, and taking my kid to do jujitsu. All the stuff's within a walking distance. So we just walk, and that helps keep your muscles toned, and it also helps with your blood pressure. It helps um, manage your insulin. And one of the best things you could do for insulin and walking is walk right after you eat. So you eat a meal, then go for a walk, get on a treadmill, or do like I do. I use a rebounder. Rebounders, the little tiny trampolines. I do that every morning. Do 20 minutes of the rebounder. I put on my praise and worship music, and I just close my eyes and I just bounce. It's really good for your balance. It helps move your lymph system. Your lymph system doesn't have a pump. The pump is you moving. Movement is the pump. So Gravity works great for a rebounder. You can get a rebounder for $150, or you probably can find a used one somewhere on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. So check into that. Those different things. There's so many ways. Drinking water is another one. Uh, every time you feel hungry now, instead of picking up something sweet, pick up something savory instead. That'll really help your insulin resistance. Now we've also before we go, I, yeah, Robert says he's looking forward to the warmer weather. Me too, sir. I'll be up Robert's way here in 8 weeks. We're going up. We're gonna have to go bury my dad. He died a little over a year ago. We're gonna bury him, I think June 5th, in Rochester, New York, and looking forward to going home, see my family, and just have a nice springtime in Rochester. So let's go into the patches really quick. Um, I just got warned today that we have to be careful what we say about the patches on the internet. All right. Patches are amazing, but we can't go out and say anything about health benefits and all that. So if you want to know more about these patches, you just have to reach out to me privately. But I think they're fabulous. So I wear these patches. They're phototherapy patches. Phototherapy has been around for a long time, and I love them. So here's the X39 patch. This is the one that I wear during the day. Um, I wish I could tell you what it does, but I can't because we don't want to be kicked out of the company. But I absolutely love it. And at night, I wear this one at night. It's called Alavida. All right, you read. It's this one's general wellness patch. It definitely sleep. This was sleep, and supposedly, it does things with the skin. So I put this one right here on my temple. And in the morning when I wake up, I take it off and I switch to these two. And this one, you can read right on there. That's what that one supposedly does. And they all say the same thing down there. But these two are generally used together, especially for the first 3 months. And what our talk is about tonight, I think this is going to help. And this is the one I wear at night. All right. So these are fabulous. You can reach out to me privately if you want to talk about these. But yeah, I wear them at night and during the day. So much good information. And here's the book. AJ sent me this book. You guys know AJ in our group. A lot of information about these. So they use the acupuncture points with phototherapy. Great science, but obviously the pharmaceutical companies do not like it. They don't like this kind of stuff. So you guys have any other thing you want to talk about regarding blood pressure? If you have questions about blood pressure, let me know. Robert says, I've been having issues with sleep. I'm suspecting it may be due to how the units are built and that this place is very active late into the night. You know what I mean? Yeah. Robert, you living in a trap house, buddy? Yeah, Toronto could be sketchy. Robert knows I was just there. I think it was like 2 years ago. I took my family, had a good time, but I had not seen. I mean, when I lived in Europe, I saw it, but I had never seen anything like this in Toronto, where people were openly using illicit drugs on the street. I was like, what's going on? This is Canada. It's not supposed to be happening in Canada. But it was. So totally bizarre. Poor Canadians. They're just not used to that stuff. It's very sad. All right. So fasting, 3 things: fasting, walking, or just exercise in general. Limit your um, processed foods. Stay away from anything that's made in a factory, okay? Including your meats. If you can get your meats from a source directly at the farm, do it. You can't trust anything today. Um, those are free. Sleep is free, right? Stay away from stress. If you if you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend that stresses you out, maybe you shouldn't keep them around. I'm just saying, the stress will raise your blood pressure. But the big one for me is insulin resistance. I think that's what's really helped my blood pressure go down, and that's when the cost comes in. I use these. You could use soluble and insoluble fiber. There's other ways to get insoluble and insoluble fiber too at the store. Um, just be careful the amounts that you take. Take your medicines that your doctor recommends. Obviously, go see your physician. But you guys know that the physician is going to disagree with me with a lot of things. I'm just saying what's worked for me. This is my story, and I've turned my life around health-wise because of the stuff that I've done here. And you guys have been following me for a long time, you know? Stuff like this, guys. It's pretty freaking simple, you know? Instead of drinking a Coca-Cola, make yourself a hibiscus tea. Put some stevia in it, and it kind of tastes like Kool-Aid. It's just fabulous. Oops. Sounds like my son he's getting yelled at. Oh, my kid, man. I got an 8-year-old. He just spilled something. He made a big mess. All right. So that's about it. We're 46